Lazav, the Multifarious versus another new commander, Toothy, Imaginary Friend. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We will keep this hand. We have a Ponder, and we have a new addition to the deck as well, which I want to go through. But for now, I think we will just Ponder and see if we want to shuffle up our library. I think we can go search for as counter. No, Entomb, Damnation, search for as counter. I think I want to put the yeah, we'll do it that way. That's fine. And then we can go for a Brainstorm next turn and try and get into a black source. And I will go over the commanders, specifically my opponent's commander, because I don't remember what it does. It's 4 mana for a 1/1, and you can partner it, but you're not allowed to partner in 1v1 anymore, which is annoying. But whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and when it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. So, massive card draw deck, I imagine. It looks like we're going to see it next turn as well. We can go for a Brainstorm now, I think. And yeah, we get into a black source there, so we'll put Damnation and the... yeah, we can just go for the Jace's Archivist on top. And then we will Entomb at the end of our opponent's turn. And then probably just go for a search for Azcanta the turn after that. And our Lazav deck, once we pass priority to our opponent, is a 1/3 for a, I was going to say a white, a blue and a black. And you surveil when it enters, and you can pay X to have it become the copy of a creature in your graveyard, and it keeps that ability, so you can keep swapping between all the different creatures that are in your graveyard. We will go for an Entomb. I don't think we're going to do anything too different here. I think we'll just go for our typical card that I can't remember the name of. What's it called? Invisible Stalker. Hexproof. Can't be blocked. There's a few different things that we can do with that. And I'll pass over to our opponent. Yeah, the Lazav and Multifarious videos are doing so well that I actually have to... I'm having to upload this at the weekend as some bonus content to try and fit it into the schedule that I've got going. I don't want it to turn into the Lazav channel. So in order to make room for it, having to go for it at the weekend. The Lazav fans are quite ravenous. So I hope you enjoy this little bit of bonus weekend content. And we'll get down the search for Azcanta, and then I want to get into the change that I've made, the single change that I've made in the deck. But we'll just pass over to our opponent, then we can talk about that. And go opponent, take priority. Alright, there we go. We took out the Sire of Stagnation for Siren Storm Tamer, and what that does is it's a 1 mana 1/1 flyer, so it's an evasive creature that Lazav can target if we need some form of evasion to get damage through. But also, the important thing, and the reason that I added it, for blue and sacrifice, it counters a target spell or ability that targets us or a creature we control. And so what that does is it's kind of triple duty. Not only is it an evasive creature, but it can sacrifice itself in response to things like Song of the Dryads and Imprisoned in the Moon, things like that. But the main reason that it's in here, just see what our opponent's doing here. Flyer. Players play with their hand revealed. Yeah, okay, we'll go for that. It reveals what our opponent has as well. So I have... we don't care about Immortal Sun. Thirst for Knowledge, they can't do anything with. Jace's Phantasm, they can get out. We're probably going to see that now. Yeah, so the main reason that the Storm Tamer is in here is because it counters abilities that target us, and that is either forcing us to sacrifice creatures, or if Lazav is a copy of the Siren Storm Tamer, then it will counter things like Bajuka Bog, Neil Spellbomb, things that exile our graveyard, because it won't be able to target us. It will mean that we're sacrificing Lazav, but sacrificing Lazav and protecting our graveyard isn't something that I'm too worried about. We do just want to protect our graveyard as best we can, and we will always yield to the Search for Azcanta, and then see what we have on top. Grim Monolith is... do we want Grim Monolith? I don't think we do, because we're going to Demonic Tutor, I think. Yeah, put it in the bin. Yeah, we get into a land. I actually prefer that, so that's good. We will go for Demonic Tutor. If that was a Basalt Monolith, then what I would have done is kept it and then Demonic Tutored for the Mesmeric Orb, and we could have gone infinite, milled out our graveyard and got down a Lab Maniac before the draw, and we could have got the win there. That's a 3-card combo. But instead we'll just go for... What will we go for 4 mana? I think we can just go for Buried Alive. Pretty slow start for us, but we can hope for a land next turn and get down Lazav, I think. If our opponent wants to exile our graveyard, they can do. We have the Buried Alive in hand, so that wouldn't be too bad for us. We have a Tech Edge on top. We'll keep that just for the mana. And our opponent has 2 flyers, so we will not be swinging in. And I think Force of Will is exile. Yeah, we have to exile a blue card to do that for free, so we'd preferably not get rid of Lab Maniac, although we're not anywhere near the combo there. Yeah, I took out the Sire of Stagnation for the Storm Tamer because we now have 4 means of... I think it's 4 means of protecting the graveyard. There's the Siren Storm Tamer, there's Disallow, which is a counter spell. What else is there? There's Nimble Obstructionist, which is a 3/1 bird with cycling, and you can cycle that to counter a ability, and that will of course give us evasion for Lazav to target. And I think there's something else. Oh, Stifle is a single blue, and it counters a triggered ability as well. So that's 4 means of protecting our graveyard. It's not foolproof, and we do of course have to draw into all these things, but Siren Storm Tamer is something we're going to have to hold mana up for now, especially with going for the Buried Alive next turn. And yeah, our opponent goes for Thirst for Knowledge. They draw 3 cards and get 3 cards onto the Toothy. That's really... I think the artwork is a little bit too... what's the name of that other game? There's another card game that got pretty popular for a while that's based on World of Warcraft or something. It's not the World of Warcraft trading card game. What the hell is it called? I can't remember, but the artwork is a little bit cartoony for my liking, but I like the actual idea behind the artwork itself. Okay, our opponent coming in, and we're going to have to watch ourselves on commander damage here. But I think we can just take it. They do have Time Twister. Oh, and that. Yeah, that has us shuffle our hand and graveyard into our live. Ooh, that is... Yeah, perhaps should have left up the... Oh, but no, Siren Storm Tamer wouldn't have helped us anyway. Yeah, we're going to have to Force of Will that if they go for it. Looks like they might be doing here. No, they're not doing. Okay, so probably won't see a Lab Maniac win this game. Yeah, always yes and always yield. I have to do that again because I removed the... no, we don't want to put that in our graveyard. We want to play it. Alright, so we have to hold Lab Maniac and Force of Will up. Our opponent, I don't think, has any counters. No, they do not, so we can go for Buried Alive here, not going to blow up one of our opponent's lands. And we'll go for some kind of win condition. We have a means of turning Lazav into... Yeah, we have the unblockable, so we can go for... How much mana do we have? 2, 4, 5. We can go for Vector Asp, Phyrexian Dreadnought. We might be able to get a win next turn, actually. Typical, I need to start trying to slow down the games because they always tend to win in the same way. But if you're... Let me just get all this sorted out. I'm trying to talk and come up with this stuff at the same time. What do we care about here? We could go for a Wall of Souls. There we go. Yeah, it tends to win in the same way every time, and it's not, in all honesty, it's not really my type of deck. Had I have run this off the channel, then I would have just played the deck a few times, realised what Lazav's all about, and then not played it again. Because, as I say, it's not really my kind of thing. But, I mean, hey, like I say, the people who watch the Lazav and Multifarious games are ravenous, and the views are really up there. So, just uploading some more content here, and I like to try and make the videos more interactive, but they don't tend to be with the Lazav videos, and they tend to be quite fast wins. And they tend to be the same wins as well. Like, for instance, we can go for... Next turn, if I get the graveyard out, we can go for Invisible Stalker and then turn it into... So if we do that at the end of this turn, then we can go for Vector Asp, give it Infect, that'll be 2 mana. Swing in. No, we'll swing in as an Invisible Stalker, wait for blockers, turn it into Vector Asp for 2 mana. That'll be turn it into Vector Asp and kill it. And turn it into... God. You try and commentate and play Magic at the same time. Right, let's try again without me acting like an idiot. Vector Asp. After our opponent has declared blockers, which they won't be able to block because it'll be an unblockable Invisible Stalker, we pay a black to give it Infect. Then we pay a single mana to Lazav to turn it into a 12/12 Phyrexian Dreadnought Trample Infect. There we go, got there in the end. Another thing we can do, which would be quite cool, that I might try and get a win with that instead, is turn it into Wall of Souls, and then turn it into a Vector Asp first, give it Infect, and then turn it into Wall of Souls in response to them swinging in with Toothy. That's another line of play we could go for. Just want to make sure our opponent can't draw at instant speed. No, they can't. And how much life are we going to take here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Eesh. Let's see what would happen with the Wall of Souls. Whenever it's dealt combat damage, yeah, unfortunately I don't think we're going to be able to... Let's just try and go for that win, just for the fun of it. Yeah, we'll try and go for that. We really shouldn't. We could get the win next turn and go for the what I eventually told you about after much struggle and turmoil. We should go for the Invisible Stalker and not Grim Monolith. Vector Asp and Phyrexian Dreadnought. That's what we should go for, but unfortunately... Let's see here. If it dies and it had no counters on it, create... Oh yeah, we're fine. That's fine. We don't care about that. Is our opponent going to draw enough cards next turn? We need... If we want to go for the Wall of Salt, yeah, we have to counter that. Pay a life. Get rid of that. And Lab Maniac. Unfortunately, I don't think that Toothy will be strong enough. It needs to be at least 10 power in order to make this Wall of Souls and Vector Asp combo work. But what we would do is turn it into Wall of Souls and block the Toothy. but then damage would all be dealt at the same time, and I think they'd get enough through to kill us, so unfortunately won't be able to go for something different. This is just a pretty typical Lazav game, but it's cool to see Toothy, the imaginary friend. Yeah, I really like that. That whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter, and then when it leaves the battlefield, so you could bounce it. You could bounce it in blue easily. If someone exiles it or removes it, you get to draw that many cards. Yeah, that's really good. I like that card. Okay, now we turn it into, because we know that our opponent can't do anything about it, we go for the Invisible Stalker. Yeah, unfortunately, if our opponent didn't have these flyers, I would go for that Vector Asp Wall of Souls little interaction. But our opponent's going to have us next turn if we let them. So search for as counter triggers. Do we put an island in? We do not. We want to play the island. We don't want to transform it either. We like to have the filtering in this deck. So first thing we do, same as most games, to be honest. Swing in with Lazav. Wait for blockers to be declared. And yeah, our opponent sees there. So as soon as they declare blockers, which they won't be able to block, we go for Vector Asp. We give it Infect. That's 2 mana. And then for another mana, we go for the Phyrexian Dreadnought, which is a 12/12 for 1 generic mana. And that will be a 12/12 Trample Infect. And we will get our opponent on that. Good play to our opponent. That was a cool mono blue deck with lots of card draw, making your creature really big, and then if we did manage to get rid of the creature, they just draw into more cards. So yeah, I like the look of that. Shame we couldn't get into the other means of winning. I want to try and show the other win conditions in the deck. If you want to know about all the other win conditions, if you want to build the deck yourself and try and learn it yourself, there's a link to the deck list to Tapped Out in the description, and I describe everything that you can do in the deck there. But failing that, that's a Lazav, the Multifarious game for you all. I know how much you are liking those, and hopefully you continue to like them for some time to come. I will keep uploading them for as long as you are enjoying them. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.